Fist flying no bounds. Podcast kings, we pound for pound. UFC thrills, spills nights get loud. Big EP215, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it again on a Thursday. Ready to go. Excited about this upcoming pay-per-view. Tyler Fish already in the chat. What's up, Tyler? Welcome back. Appreciate you for always jumping in. And anyone else who's there, the chat's open. Be nice. Don't try to trick me into saying stupid shit. And you won't get blocked. But we're here ready to go. Yeah, we got UFC 322 this Saturday happening. 2 title fights. It's gonna be a good one. I feel like I have a good feeling about it. I hope I'm right this time. You know, the past few times I've been like, this seems like a good card or whatever. You did, Tyler. I appreciate you, man. Usually, and you know what, when I've seen other people deal with stuff like that, I've been like, damn, you know, how did you not recognize it or whatever? And I see how you don't recognize it because you're just kind of in the motion and doing your thing. And that's why these motherfuckers get to you, but it's all good. I guess it makes it interesting or whatever. Not really, but you know, you got to deal with shit sometimes. It happens. But yeah, I appreciate you, Tyler. That's why you're a loyal viewer, and I appreciate the efforts. Anyway, yeah, UFC 322 this weekend. There's a lot of combat sports happening this weekend that I didn't actually realize because I just been you know, focused on 322. You know, that's what I focus on anyway, is the UFC. That's what I know the most about, so I just kind of stick to that. But yeah, I'm excited for this event. There's some couple other little things going on, but you know, UFC 322 is what we're here to talk about mostly. I will touch on those other events quickly, and there's a little bit of other news happening. But yeah, besides that, I'm just ready to go. It's Thursday, huge one championship card, big K1 event, and the biggest UFC card of the year. Exactly. Actually, I forgot about the K1. Damn it. But I did list a couple other ones in there that I'm going to just touch on. I just want to, you know, just bring it up and you know, because I'm not going to go too deep into it because I don't follow all of that as closely as I wish I could. I just don't have enough time in the day. I feel like I don't have enough time in the day for anything. That's what happens when you get old, you know, time just goes by faster. It's fucked up. 5 title fights on the one card is absolutely crazy. Combat Sports Today was covering it, and yeah, he was Phil was live yesterday I think it was, and he was covering it, and I was just like, damn. I did see that. Oh, I forgot to change it. I was so focused on the other events, man. Anyway, I'll figure it out. Yeah, I was gonna change it on my prelim stuff. I did see that because I noticed it when I was going over things earlier, when I was finishing up my prep, and I couldn't find confirmation. It just said it on when you Google UFC events, it just said fight canceled, and I'm like, no fucking way. Like, Wellmaker's fight can't be canceled, man. And I knew that he already had a change of opponent once, and I'm like, no, we can't have this. We need to see Wellmaker fighting. Like, what the fuck? He was just on Ariel too. But yeah, like, I wasn't even paying attention to anything else. I just happened to notice it when I Googled I usually have that page up in the background. It's one of my tabs I always have up when I'm doing the podcast. So, you know, and I was double checking everything. And of course, I couldn't find confirmation. So once I got done with my prep, I had something else happening at the house. I dealt with that. And then I went back on and I started seeing it all over the place. And I'm like, okay, cool. When I get back in the room, I'm going to fix that. And I didn't fix it because I'm an idiot. And I was remembering all the other shit. And I was like, oh, I'm going to grab a couple visuals for this. And I forgot. That's all right, though. It'll be on my prelims thing. It's not a big deal. I'll just, you know, we'll touch on it when it gets there. But yeah, he did post it on his Insta, and I'm glad that he, you know, posted it and put it out there, got to talk about it for himself. And, you know, I'm glad that he's still fighting. So, yeah, that's a good thing because I definitely want to see him fight. But, you know, shit goes weird when you have opponents dropping out left and right. and you keep taking whatever opponent comes at you. I just hope he's as ready as he says he is. When I watched him on Aerial the other day, he seemed hyped up and ready, and he definitely is. It seems like he just wants to fight, doesn't matter who it is. And there's a lot of fighters out there that say anyone, anytime, any place, and when you've prepared, I guess who gives a shit who your opponent is, right? But sometimes that backfires, and unfortunately, the guys that can't handle those kind of changes use it as an excuse, like, well, listen, my opponent got I had to make my money, I just kept taking the fight because I needed the money, I needed the fight. But this motherfucking stupid Stream Elements thing, I thought I got it to stop because it didn't do it in the past couple, but now it pops up again. That's okay, whatever. Better than trolls. So anyway, yeah, we'll get to the well maker stuff too. Other than that, this week is it's an interesting week, man. It's been a weird one. We had Tuesday off. I went and played golf, which was awesome. I'm just glad I got to play. I didn't do as well as I did last time, but I've been having some consistency with the way my golf swing has been lately, so I'm happy about that. I just have a couple things to tweak, and then I'll be a little happier every time I go out and play. I got a new club because I found something on a crazy sale. What did I score? I don't know. I'm kind of embarrassed by what I scored. I'm not that great. I honestly, if I break 100, I'm happy. I barely hit the 100 mark this time. I had a few holes that I fucked up pretty badly, and I was having trouble. I was hitting the ball very well, but I was over hitting everything because I was hitting better than usual. I'm not as great as I should be. I've played for a long time. But last time I played, I think I scored like 92, which is good for me. But I'm not that great. I'm very inconsistent. I can hit the ball well, and I can make some great shots, but I'll always fuck one part of it up. And it's like my parlays. So like either my putting's off and I'll 3-putt and it'll kill me, or I'll be like hitting something. I actually pull the ball a lot instead of slice it. So I'll pull the ball. I'm worse, so you're good. Oh, okay. I mean, there's always somebody that, but yeah, we just have fun, man. I just like being able to play. That's a good hobby. It's a lot of people are into golf these days, which is awesome. I just wish I had more time to practice more, but I don't. Mr. Golf and Glory Clark will be here this weekend for the watch party. He's always harping on me about practicing, but I just don't have. I mean, I could make the time, but that would take away time from other things, and it's tough, man. There's a lot of times where I just kind of want to chill. I can never chill in my brain. So whenever I get the time to actually sit and chill and do whatever I decide to do, yeah, it's good. So sometimes that's just not in the cards. So anyway, yeah, I'm excited to try out my new club. I got a great deal on a club that I've been wanting to replace for a while, so I'm happy about that. So hopefully I can go use that club here sometime soon. But yeah, the day off kind of threw my week into some weirdness. We got a new guy that started at work as well. So I've been, my schedules or my daily routine has been off a little bit, but it's okay. Sometimes you get those things thrown in and you just roll with it. So that's it. That's about how it's been. And I'm just excited for this fight card this weekend, UFC 322. But before we hit that up and all the other combat sports news, I want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Noctane Smelling Salts, of course, as usual. Scan that QR code or hit the description in the link below, or the link in the description below. I'm getting dyslexic over here. Yeah, and get yourself a bottle. It's good stuff. It's affordable, and it works really well. My bottle is, I've been saying it for the past couple weeks that my bottle's been kind of dying out, and it's really getting to the tail end here. So I'm hoping that Clark comes through with my bottle because he knows the guy, and hopefully he'll be able to pick it up. But we'll see what we can do with this one here. Oh. Ooh, took my breath away. All right. It's not as strong, but it still hits. It still hits enough to kind of get a reaction. Ooh, okay. It hits differently when it's wearing out. But It's a good way to stay awake and alert. I use it for long drives. People use it for powerlifting to get a quick adrenaline rush. There's a lot of different uses for it. Go to their website, check it out. You can read about it. It's a cool website to look at. And yeah, it's a good one. So Noctane Smelling Salts, appreciate the sponsorship as usual. And that's it. Let me take a drink here and we'll get started on what we're here to talk about. And we're going to get started with something a lot of people don't like, but it's been a bit controversial as far as the announcements were made, but got to talk about it. Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua are in talks to finalize a fight. Now, I've seen a couple conflicting reports that, you know, yeah, sure, they were in talks, but nothing's been finalized whatsoever, which I completely understand. But, you know, a lot of times gonna end in a draw. Yeah, that's probably the way that Jake Paul would like it to end, so he could say that he hung. But my biggest thing is we saw what Anthony Joshua did to Francis Ngannou. Like, yes, Francis Ngannou is an MMA fighter, not a boxer, but we saw him do, you know, somewhat decent against Tyson Fury. Now, yeah, he dropped him once, but, you know, there's a lot of things involved, like maybe Tyson Fury just wasn't taking it serious, he's known for not really training well and kind of flopping when it comes to preparation for fights. He's done it in the past. He's had weight issues. He's had all kinds of stuff. So mental issues, stuff like that get in the way. But in the end, Francis Ngannou did okay and gave him maybe a little bit of false confidence, which took him to that Anthony Joshua fight. And then he got knocked the fuck out. Now, don't get me wrong. There was things involved that Francis Ngannou was dealing with at the moment. The death of his son, the accident with the motorcycle, all kinds of crazy shit that was happening with him. And yeah, maybe wasn't in the I don't know if the motorcycle accident had happened at that point yet. But the death of his son was definitely weighing on him big. No, the death of his son happened right after, right? Shit, I'm fucking up the timeline here. I might be getting ahead of myself. I think it might have I think it happened right after, because I was thinking if Paul actually takes his fight and it doesn't end in a draw, I'll give him respect. Yeah, I mean, he lost to Tommy Fury, right? Nobody gave him respect after that one, but Tommy Fury's not Anthony Joshua. So the motorcycle thing was earlier this year. Yeah, I think it happened right after he got knocked out, because I was thinking, damn, when it rains it pours on fucking Francis Ngannou. But whatever, the timeline's all fucked up, but Ngannou's dealt with all kinds of shit. But the knockout was bad. He got knocked out cold. It was not good. And if Francis Ngannou can't hang with Joshua, I don't know if Jake Paul can. Now, Jake Paul has been training for 3+ years in boxing only, so maybe that's the leg up he has. Paul was trying to get the fight with Ngannou. Ngannou said, that's disrespectful. What the fuck? You think I'm gonna fight you? But I honestly think that would have been a better fight than Anthony Joshua. I don't know that that's a great fight for him to have at this point in time, but neither was Tank Davis. The only reason why that seemed to maybe work for him is because he was so much bigger. Obviously, Tank Davis is an idiot and fucked it all up, and that fight's off. So now Jake Paul's reaching because he had, you know, the Netflix deal. They're wanting a big name because Tank Davis was a big name, and they're trying to make it up. So there's rumors that it might happen in December, and there's talks that it's, you know, being finalized currently, but Eddie Hearn said, I think everyone's jumping the gun. But Eddie Hearn likes to talk a lot of shit too, and he doesn't like Jake Paul, so you never know. This is still just rumors, but, you know, we saw a lot of social media posts and stuff like that coming out over this past couple days. So I just thought, you know, shit, what would happen? I mean, of course, at least Jake Paul's fighting somebody who's the same size, probably bigger than him, actually. Yeah, he is bigger because Joshua fights at heavyweight, right? So that he's definitely bigger than him, and, you know, he's not a washed up fighter whatsoever, and he's definitely way more skilled. So like Tyler said, you know, if he takes the fight and it doesn't end in a draw, that he'll give him his respect. Well, I say if he actually gets into this fight and nothing seems fishy about the way it goes down, yeah, I feel the same way. Like, you know, maybe we give him a little bit of props for actually stepping in with Joshua. Maybe that sways people a little bit. But you know what happens, and this is what's been happening with Jake Paul. He fights a fight or does something that everyone's like, okay, we see you, Jake Paul. Like, we see what's happening. You know, maybe you're going in the right direction. And then he turns around and has a fucking circus fight with somebody who's either way smaller than him, way older than him, someone that doesn't belong in there with him at all whatsoever. Some can that, you know, fucking has like 75 fucking losses on his record or something stupid like that. So even if this does go through, he'll fuck it up for himself, because that's just kind of the way he seems to work things. If he proves me wrong, that's great. He's been doing a lot of other great things for, you know, fighters and stuff. What he does for women's boxing, and all of his undercard that he usually tries to prop up with any of his fights is a good thing. I just, you know, it's hard to respect him, or for him to garner the respect that he wants from the boxing world, with everything that he does. I'm not sure who Hawkins is. Tyler, you probably know more than me, so I'm not sure who that is. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's just a good matchup you're thinking. But I mean, Jake Paul did get ranked in the oh shit. What the hell? I thought you were being serious. Oh shit. He did get ranked in the WBO, and you know, yeah, but that doesn't, what does that really mean? Who knows? He beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Yeah, I don't know. This is just something that popped up. I want to talk about it for a quick second, because, you know, we've been following Jake Paul and all the shit that he's doing. And yeah, it's just if this actually goes through, it'll be kind of crazy. So I'll definitely be watching for this one. The Tank Davis fight did not interest me whatsoever. I probably would have watched still on TikTok or something. Oh no, it was on Netflix. What am I talking about? I would have watched it on Netflix. I forgot it's actually free, but I would have watched it. Didn't mean I would enjoy it, but you know, who knows? We'll see what happens with this. Let's move on to some more serious fights, one of which is a real boxing match. This or Paul versus Paul are the only Paul fights I'll watch. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It depends. He might change things up. If he gets a win over somebody like Anthony Joshua, he's definitely going to be changing things up and going, you know, crazy, but I don't see that happening. There's a real boxing match going on this weekend, and that's Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn, the rematch. They had a fucking epic fight. When was that fight? I don't even remember when that was. It was earlier this year, but it was a crazy lead up. It was an epic fight that they had. And now they're rematching. There's not a lot of hype around this one. Maybe it's because everyone's like, we saw it already, but it was a great fight, I thought. And I mean, there was a lot of hype around the first one. Obviously, they're both of their fathers fought each other back in the day, so it's, you know, crazy kind of historical stuff going on in the background with this fight. There was the whole, you know, slapping at the face-offs with the eggs. You know, there was all the shit talking and stuff like that, so it made for a good lead up to the fight. But it's because everyone watched Canelo Crawford and don't want anything to do with boxing ever again. All right, well, yeah, you know, that's the thing. I don't follow boxing that closely because the roller coaster of bullshit just never ends with boxing. And I've never been able to get too deep into boxing. I wish I could. I really do. But MMA is too exciting for me because there's so many different ways that you can beat someone, or so many different ways that someone can lose. While MMA has its downfalls as well, it is like Tyler just said, and the events take so damn long. Yeah, I mean, UFC especially has everything so well put together that it's hard to watch other events, and it's hard to get into them because you're constantly just like wondering what the fuck's gonna happen next. Dana White said it himself. He's like, hey, in some of these boxing matches, they're having podcasts in between fights. There's full-on fucking concerts happening. You know, there's cake eating contests or some shit. But I mean, come on, Dana White does slap fighting, so maybe they should think about putting some slap fighting matches in between these big boxing fights. An early knockout in boxing is like round 7, and that's like 21 minutes in. Yeah, exactly. That's almost the length of a championship fight in the UFC. So it's crazy, man. So it's tough for me to get into boxing that much, but I do pay attention when some of the bigger fights happen. And while this may not be one of the biggest fights according to the mainstream or whatever, but I just remember the first one and how much of the lead up and stuff it was, and it was pretty cool, and it was a pretty damn good fight. So that's happening again this weekend. We got some BKFC, a different type of boxing happening. Also more brutal, more bloody, but it's entertaining. So BKFC 84 is happening Saturday as well, kind of in the mix of all this other shit. So, you know, but BKFC is not like crazy big anyway, but you know, sometimes when they pick the right weekends, it could blow up a little bit. So but this one is a rematch as well. Josh Dyer versus Lorenzo Hunt, the rematch happening on Saturday. They fought, let's see, I don't even know when it was 2021, and Lorenzo Hunt won that fight. So after that is when he fought Hector Lombard, which was a crazy one. He's fought Joe Riggs, Mike Richmond, Chris Camozzi. I didn't even realize a BKFC card was on. Exactly, that's the tough part, because BKFC is one of those ones that kind of slip through the cracks sometimes. Unless you have Connor in you know, center stage, like hyping it all up, you really don't even know it's on, which is weird. But I mean, I do like BKFC. I appreciate what it does, what it is, and the action that you get from it, because it's all action, all times. It's fucking brutal. Those bare knuckles cut your face up, and it's bloody as hell. That turns some people off, but that's also very exciting. If you hate the wrestling and grappling and laying praying of MMA, BKFC might be the way to go. You know, we have other stuff now like DBX, Dirty Boxing. That's pretty cool too. But I've seen some lulls going on in some of those matches. It happens everywhere. But, you know, BKFC is almost always all action. So it's kind of crazy. And it's fun to watch every once in a while. When you catch one that's on, it's like, hell yeah, I'll watch this. As far as the rest of the card goes, I don't know too many other people on this card. I don't follow it that closely. But there is a couple of former UFC fighters fighting. Aspen Ladd is fighting. Knockout is where it's at for sick fights. Knockout, I've heard of that, I just haven't watched it, and I'm thinking I need to, because I've heard this multiple times at this point. So maybe I need to start paying attention to that. Where do you watch that? Is what I want to know. Like, where can I find it? And maybe I'll start taking a look. Let's see, Aspen Ladd is making her BKFC debut this weekend against Cheyenne Bitliff, and yeah, that will be her first BKFC fight. She, you know, obviously fought in the UFC for a while. She went over to PFL and PFL/Bellator. So now she's trying her hand at BKFC like many other, you know, MMA fighters have. It's usually free on YT. It's usually at like 1 a.m. Oh, got you, Japanese. That's right. Okay. I remember you talking about this before. I mean, I definitely need to pay attention. I'm sure I can go back and watch it on YouTube anyway, right? So maybe I need to go and check it out. Chase Gormley was in the UFC way back in the day. He was 0-2 in the UFC. I believe one of those losses were to Brendan Schaub when he first started. Yep, I think that was Brendan Schaub's first ever fight, if I remember correctly, the stories he tells on his podcast. And then he fought Brendan Schaub and Stefan Struve. Those are two, at the time, they were two tough opponents. So, but yeah, he's making his, is that his, looks like it's his debut in bare knuckle. No, he's fought there a couple times before. So he's like 1-1 in BKFC. So he's fighting there as well. And that's it as far as recognizable names for me. But, you know, you don't really have to know their names to know the action that it brings. So you can check that out as well. So you got bare knuckle fighting, you got you know, regular traditional boxing, and then you also have one championship happening as well. That's happening on Sunday, and as Tyler mentioned earlier, there is a ton of crazy fights on this card. Championship fights, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa. How many? I can't even tell. What the hell? I see 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 championship fights. What's his name? Rug or Rug was supposed to fight on this as well, but I think he got in like some kind of crazy car accident, right? So that he got taken off this card. Well, anyway, Super Bond versus Masaki Niori is fighting in the main event for the lightweight championship. It's 5. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was looking at that because they have it in different color. It's weird. I don't know. I do not follow one as closely. They have so many different fighters that are in this organization, because they also do, you know, like Muay Thai and MMA and all kinds of different shit in here. But it's because some are MMA and some are Muay Thai and some are kickboxing. Exactly. That slight delay, but you're on top of it, Tyler. But yeah, we got Ra Tang versus Nango. Those are 2 names I know. That should be a fun fight. Christian Lee's fighting against Ali Beg Ruzalov, who's undefeated, 14-0. Christian Lee's the defending champ right now, so that should be a fun one as well. And I think I saw something else. Stamp Fairtex is fighting against Kana Morimoto. That should be a good one. Stamp Fairtex is fun to watch for sure. Tairu Tolo fighting against Shozo Isojima. I hope I'm saying that right. Is that a grappling match, or is that an MMA? Tai went to MMA, right, Tyler? So I think that should be MMA, right? Either way, they're both undefeated, because it says Tairu Tolo's 1-0, so I think that means it's an MMA fight, because I think he just moved over into MMA. So that should be a fun one too. The Ruotolo brothers are definitely exciting guys to watch fight. Rafael Lovato Jr. is fighting in this too. Holy shit, that's a name from back in the day. Sorry, I'm over here choking. He's fighting G. Silvio Bodoni. I don't know, man. And then there's a lot of other names. Oh, Shinya Aoki's fighting in this card as well. Yeah, I think he moved to MMA. No, I'm pretty sure that's right. Shinya Aoki, another name from back in the day, fighting Hiroyuki Tetsuka. And that's it for me as far as the ones I recognize. So I know a few more names than I thought on this card, but I knew it was a stacked card. And I know a lot of people were looking forward to that. I think it's Rug fight, because that dude is a beast. But I'm pretty sure that's right. He got into like some crazy car accident or something, and he's injured. If I remember what I read about him. But yeah, so you got all kinds of combat sports going on. And then Tyler also mentioned a K1 event, right? That's happening. Trying to look back at the yeah, I don't remember. 5 title fights on one card is crazy. That's what you said. Oh yeah, K1 event. That's right. So I don't know who's fighting in the K1 event. I kind of forgot about that one. But there's a lot of combat sports going on today, this weekend. So you have a lot to choose from if you follow any of this. If not, you can always take a look and you know, give it a little Google there, and you can surely find anything about these events going on. And yeah, you got some other stuff besides UFC to watch. So big weekend for combat sports. Let's hit up the one I do know more about, which is UFC 322, the pay-per-view happening on Saturday. 2 title fights, 2 fighters moving up in weight after vacating their titles in the lower weight classes. Valentina Shevchenko, the #1 pound for pound women's fighter, the current champion, fighting Weili Zhang Weili, whichever way you want to say it. who was the strawweight champion, she vacated her title, and now that title is in the hands of Mackenzie Dern, who beat Virna Jandiroba, what was it, like a month ago? And yeah, now Zhang is looking to fight Shevchenko, which I feel like this was a damn good matchup that we've all been like, hey, that would be a good one to watch, and now we get it. So Weili moved up in weight and is now fighting Valentina Shevchenko. This is the card we've got some Bruce Buffer going on. Yeah, this is definitely a card we've been waiting for. You know, the New York cards, this is in November is when they do Madison Square Garden and in New York, and it's almost always a banger of a card. At least they try to make it that way, and they pulled it off this time. So far so good. We're at Thursday, which means tomorrow's the weigh-ins. Let's hope everybody makes weight. Let's hope there's no injuries due to the weight cut. There's no bad weight cuts, and if there is any bad weight cuts, let them still make the weight and be able to fight. Let's make sure no fights fall through the cracks. And yeah, I'm just hoping for the best, because this is a hell of a fight card. So we got Valentina Shevchenko versus Weili Zhang, and then we have Jack Della Maddalena, who just beat Bilal Muhammad earlier this year to gain that title, and this will be his first title defense. He beat Bilal back in May and to win the title. So Islam Makhachev gave up his lightweight his lightweight title to move up to welterweight and try to get a title in a second weight class, and he is fighting Jack Della Maddalena. This seems like a good matchup. You know, there's a lot to kind of think about with this one, because they're somewhat different pretty different fighters, honestly. But yeah, there's a lot to it. Islam has a lot of things that he's good at, but Jack is very good at maybe just a couple. But they could definitely be things that would beat Islam for sure, or that could beat Islam. But man, Islam's on a crazy win streak. There's a lot to it, so we'll get to it. You know, obviously I always try to work through the prelims and talk about those as well, and then we get into the main card and end up with the co-main and main. That's usually how I structure it. I've been thinking about changing up that structure, because a lot of people come in and want to talk about the main events and stuff right away. 15 fight win streak versus 18 fight win streak. Yeah, that is crazy. So there's a lot on the line here. Besides the titles, you know, everyone's fighting for something here. We got, you know, as you see in the poster there, it says number 1 pound for pound Shevchenko versus number 2 pound for pound Zhang. 16-1 in UFC versus 8-0. Yeah, we're definitely getting there. But let's look at the prelims, because there's a lot of great fights in these prelims. And that's what makes a great card, because from the bottom to the top, a lot of recognizable names, a lot of good matchups, and even the ones that might not be that good, you know the names that are involved. So we start with Slava Claus, Vyacheslav I can't even say his first name, Borshev. Either way, he's fighting Mateus Camilo. Slava Claus, man, I hope he wins, because if not, he's a goner. Yeah. You know, I always think about Merab, though. You know, Merab lost his first couple fights, and then he turned it all around and became champ. So there's always that chance. Slava Claus looked good in the couple fights he won, but you know, he's just had some issues, just not being able, you know, losing decisions. That's really all he's lost, besides to Chase Hooper, who he lost by decision. Oh, and then Terrence McKinney, he lost by decision as well. I mean, by submission. What the fuck am I saying? Submission. So he hasn't been knocked out, but yeah, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. Lost to Tom Nolan by decision, lost to Terrence McKinney by sub, and in round 1 too. So he definitely needs to turn it around. You know, there's a lot of people, like pretty much hardcore fans, that like Slava Claus, like Tyler. But yeah, he's just he needs to get it together, man, because you get those 3 losses, like I talk about it all the time. You never want to see 3 in a row. It's tough even when you have 2 in a row. At least when you're a win-loss type fighter, you don't have that that getting cut looming over your head as much, as long as you get, make some exciting fights in there. But yeah, Camilo is coming off a loss. He's 0-1 in the UFC. He lost to Gabe Green by submission in round 2 back in May. So you got these two guys both coming off of losses. Slava Claus really needs to get a win here, so he'll be fighting, with a purpose. And let's hope that we start this one off with a bang for the early prelims. Next up, we got Baisinger Susukairev versus Eric Mekonico. Wasn't this a rescheduled fight? I think they were supposed to fight before and it got canceled, if I remember correctly. But this is happening in the men's middleweight division. Susukairev is 10-0. Mekonico's 10-3. Susukairev 1-0 in the UFC. Mekonico's 1-1. So obviously Susukairev coming off a win. He beat Eric Nolan by submission in round 2 back in August. Mekonico is coming off a win as well, if I remember correctly. Yeah, a win over Cody Brundage back in August. But he lost to Ruzi Boyev before that. So he's 1-1 in the UFC. That should be a fun fight too for the second fight of the night. If he loses, he'll be 8-7, I think. Were you talking about? Oh, yeah. Okay. Next up, we get to Susukairev is pretty good, but he needs to stay calm and not be overconfident because he almost got KO'd acting like he's untouchable last fight. I kind of remember that. There was a lot of hype around him, but I mean, people were excited about the win. He's undefeated coming in. He was came off that body kick TKO win in the Contender Series, and to get the contract to get into the UFC. I hate when I get work shit happening in the middle. Oh man, hold on. Ugh, this is tough. Oh man. I have so much to say to this. Oh man. Hold on one second. Yeah, okay, anyway. I will ignore the rest of that. Anyway, sorry about that. So, yeah, Susukairev. Yeah, he definitely needs to be careful. Mekonico, I've only seen him fight the one time. I don't remember both of his fights. But, yeah, there's not much there. This is just one of those fights, we'll see how it turns out. And he's Hamzat's teammate, so that's automatic prospect points. Look at the Guram. He's in the back of a Chimaev vlog, and all of a sudden he's future champ after losing to Ismagulov. Yeah, that's what happens. They get the hype around him. They get the rub, but they got to back it up. And Susukairov's got to keep that going. He's undefeated. He's, I'm sure, going to be fighting hard to keep that undefeated record, as well as getting another win in the UFC to, keep a streak going. So he's got to prove himself, and and we'll see how he does. Next up, we move to the women. We got Angela Hill versus Fatima Klein. And Angela Hill, 13-15 in the UFC. It's crazy. Her record in general is kind of nuts. 18-15 overall. Fatima Klein is 8-1 overall, 2-1 in the UFC. Angela Hill, they keep her around, man. She's been around for a long time. She's coming off a loss to Yasmin Lucindo. She's been on kind of a win-loss type streak. Hasn't had more than 2 wins in a row in a long time. Definitely has had more than 3 losses, or more than 2 losses in a row, though. She was on a 3-fight losing streak not that long ago. So yeah, we'll see if she's due to win this one. Female Neil Magny, that's a good way of putting it, honestly. Fatima Klein's looking to Let's see. Fatima Klein is looking to, get a win over a name like Angela Hill. She may not have the best record in the world, but she is a name in the UFC. Fatima Klein's coming off of 2 wins in a row. She is had a performance of the night bonus with that head kick KO in her last fight back in July. And she beat Dudikova back in January in the second round as well. So a couple TKO wins for her there. But Angela Hill's not the type of fighter that you can TKO easily. She stays in there. She's crafty, and whether she wins or loses, she makes it a difficult fight for her opponent. So that one's going to be a tough one for Fatima Klein. We'll see if she can keep up that win streak, and we'll see what Angela Hill does with this fight. Next up, we got Chepe Mariscal versus Pat Sabatini. This should be a banger. Mariscal is always fun to watch fight, and Sabatini goes out there ready to throw down for sure. So that's a good fight. Mariscal is 5-0 in the UFC, so he's looking to extend that to 6-0 and keep that undefeated record in the UFC. Pat Sabatini's 7-2 in the UFC, 20-5 overall. Chepe, his last fight was against Ricardo Ramos, and that was a decision win. Actually, his last 3 has been decision wins. One of those was a fight of the night against Morgan Charrier, which was a good one. That was a split decision win there. Most of his wins have been by decision, except for the one against Jack Jenkins, where he got a verbal tap out from an injury. So the TKO win there for him. But he's looking to extend to 6-0 in the UFC, which would, keep him going and keep moving him up the ladder for sure. If Sabatini wins this fight, I'll be very impressed. Yeah, because Sabatini kind of seems to do well in the beginning and then finds a way to lose somewhat. But he did win his last fight against Joe Anderson Brito by unanimous decision back in April. And and then he won against Jonathan Pierce as well. So he is on a 2-fight win streak. There's a lot of grappling matches in between here, so it's really annoying to try to pay attention to. But he is on a 2-fight win streak, so both of them are trying to extend their win streaks. He destroyed Brito in the grappling. Yeah, I do somewhat remember that fight. Chepe's a crafty guy, though, man. He's definitely a tough opponent. I'm not, like you said, I'd be surprised if Sabatini wins this one. Chepe was live on TikTok earlier, looking like he was doing well with his weight cut. He said he felt very good all around, and he looked like he was doing well. So hopefully that's a good sign for him, and then the weight cut goes well. Next up, we got GM3 versus Kyle Dawkins. Man, Kyle Dawkins has looked good lately, and Gerald Meerschaert is one of those guys. If he can get you down early and he can take control with his wrestling and grappling, he's gonna put you in some bad positions for you, and he's gonna get you in a submission, because he is definitely a submission artist. But his record is 12-12 because the submissions don't always work for him. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. He lost by sub to RDR. He lost by decision to Brad Tavares, and then he lost by TKO to Mikhail Zaitchuk in his last fight. He's had 2 fights this year, lost them both. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. Before that, he won 2 in a row by submission, obviously, because that's what he's good at. Edmund Shabazian and Brian Barberena. But before that, he was on a 3-fight losing streak again. Oh, I'm sorry, a 2-fight losing streak. Some of those were grappling. He's lost in grappling matches too, so it's fucking weird, because he's so good at jiu-jitsu, but he still finds a way to lose too. I would say maybe throw 5 on GM3 by sub, but he has just looked so bad recently. Yeah, he hasn't looked good at all. I mean, I barely even remember the last time he fought and won against Shabazian. So yeah, it's a tough one for Meerschaert, because Dawkins has looked good recently. He got out of the UFC for a little while and then came back with a bang. I mean, he left in 2022 with 2 losses in a row to Roman Dolidze and Eric Anders, and then he came back against Michel Pereira and got the performance of the night bonus with a big TKO win 43 seconds into the first round. Slept Mikhail Zaitchuk, like Tyler said, in that first round. It was a nasty knockout, And yeah, if Dawkins comes in like that against GM3, fucking easy work. Because he's not, if he does that to Mearshart, yeah, it's going to be quick. Mearshart's not going to have a chance to do anything, and he needs time to work those positions. So that's almost, yeah. If Mearshart comes out with a sub in this one, it's because Doc has beat himself, because Mearshart does not look good, but he's probably desperate for a win here. So who knows, he might come out fighting hard. We'll see how it goes. His striking's kind of dog shit though, so if Dawkins comes out and catches him early, that's probably the best way for him to go. Next up we had, like I said, I forgot to fucking fix this one, but it's Malcolm Wellmaker versus Ethan, fuck, what's his last name? Ethan Ewing. So Ethan Ewing is making his UFC debut on a short notice fight against Malcolm Wellmaker. That's a fucking tough short notice fight. Holy shit. You want to talk about being handed a fucking crazy ass fight? Random ass guys for sure. But I feel like I've heard his name before. I just don't know why. Because I was looking him up and I was trying to remember. I mean, he fought in LFA, so maybe I've heard of him from there. He is on a pretty impressive win streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row over a few different organizations. He's fought in A1 Combat, Uriah Faber's organization. He fought in LFA, LFX, whatever that is, and Fight Club, and UNF. So he's fought in all kinds of different organizations, but he's on a good win streak. He won a belt in the A1 Combat, where he fought in his last fight and got a first round TKO win to win that title. So he's coming off of a title win and making his way into the UFC for his debut against, of all people, Malcolm the Machine Wellmaker, fucking KOing dudes left and right. He's 10-0 overall, 2-0 in the UFC with big knockout wins in the first round for both of his fights in the UFC. Also got a crazy knockout win in the Contender Series as well. He beat Cameron Simon with that, he just slept Cameron Simon, holy shit. And he did the same thing to Mutino. So, you know, obviously not the biggest names, the nastiest right hook I've ever seen, Tyler said, and that is the goddamn truth. His 2 fights in the UFC have gotten him 2 Performance of the Night bonuses, and I gotta give him props because he's a Georgia boy, Atlanta. So, and he seems like a cool dude. You know, he's got the Benton Henderson type look, and Simon literally flew across the fucking cage. He sure did. It was an impressive win for Wellmaker, man. And like, there is a lot of hype around him right now, and he seems pretty down to earth. And it seems like it's not getting to his head. He's focused and he's ready to, you know, really perform in the UFC. So I'm truly hoping that he continues. And, you know, he's getting a crazy late opponent. He already had a change of opponent once before this one. He was initially supposed to fight Siri Sadeh, and that was canceled due to Sadeh having a shoulder dislocation. And now Corey Haddon, did you know his wife is an amateur? Yeah, I saw that when he was talking on Ariel. Yeah, and actually I thought he said kickboxing. I'm pretty sure he said kickboxing. But maybe she's making her way over to MMA. Or maybe it was both. I'm not sure. I do remember him saying that though. And yeah, he was making some jokes about it. It's pretty cool though. So I'm looking for Wellmaker to make another big, get another big win here. You know, that right hook is crazy. So I don't know if Ewing can deal with that. Yeah, I mean, everyone kept saying MMA, but I think he said kickboxing. So let's see. Ewing has won his last 3 by TKO, 2 in the first round, 1 in the third. Before that, he had a decision win and then another 4 TKO wins. So he likes to stand and bang as well, and he seems to get it done early. A couple that went into the second round, but mostly first round finishes. So we might see fireworks early in this one, but that's what we get with the Malcolm Wellmaker fight regardless. So Now it's just a matter of whether he can, you know, drop that big right hook and land it on Ewing. I just can't trust him to avoid that nasty fucking power. Yeah, exactly. Clark, what up? Mr. Golf and Glory. I was just talking about you earlier. Yeah, Clark will be here on Saturday for the watch party. We'll talk about that after we get through breaking down this card. But yeah, Malcolm Wellmaker, man, I don't know how he doesn't come out with the win here unless he slips up. Like I said, oh hell yeah, Clark's got the smelling salts, which means we're gonna be hitting those motherfuckers hard, because fresh bottles ain't nothing like a freshie, man, and those motherfuckers hit hard. Fuck my life. Work's gonna suck tomorrow. That was not the news I wanted right now. But it could be worse. It could be me having to leave and go to work right now, and I'm not having to do that. So okay, I'm gonna get back to this. I'll focus on the thing I want to focus on now. Next up, we got Tracy Cortez, probably the best looking fighter on the roster right now, arguably. I'm sure there's other people that might come up, but you see Tracy Cortez and you're like, damn. She might not be everybody's bag though, so I get it. She's fighting Erin Blanchfield. They fought once in the past, but that was back in the Invicta days. Tracy Cortez, I actually watched some highlights from that fight. Tracy Cortez worked her wrestling really well in that fight. Blanchfield is known for her wrestling, grappling as well, and you know, that she's definitely come a long way from that last fight. Natalia Silva, yeah, I mean, yeah. Amanda Hebos too, but you know, I don't know. Tracy Cortez hits different. There's a few though. There's a few good ones in there, and there's some sneakers in there too. Cause I don't know that I thought, no, it wasn't Silva. It was who was it? Someone that fought on a card recently, and I was like, I saw her outside of fighting, and I was like, damn. Didn't know. I didn't know. But anyway, yeah, Erin Blanchfield is coming off of a win over Rose Namajunas. Why am I hearing? Hold on. I have some kind of pop-up or some shit. Can we shut the fuck up? I know you guys can't hear it, but okay, there we go. That was playing in my ear, and I'm like, Ellis Pineda, she's okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, she definitely surprised me when I actually went to her Instagram and checked it out. I wouldn't say she's up there with Tracy Cortez, at least for my taste, but she's definitely good looking. But yeah, Erin Blanchfield's coming off that win over Rose Namajunas. Before that, she lost to Manon Fiorot. But before that, she was on a good win streak. She was undefeated in the UFC before that. So she had 6 fights in a row before she fought Manon Fiorot. And she beat people like Molly McCann, Jessica Andrade, Talia Santos, Miranda Maverick. She had some good wins in there. And then she turns around and beats a former champion in Rose Namajunas. So none of these have been super crazy wins though, you know, and Tracy Cortez, she's got good boxing as well. And she sets up takedowns and shit with that boxing. So we'll see if Blanchfield can hang with that. Cortez is coming off the win over Vivian Araujo back in June. She did lose to Rose Namajunas, which is, you know, that's interesting because Blanchfield just beat Rose, and then Rose beat Tracy before not that long ago, July of last year. That was when Rose knocked the eyelash off of Tracy, which was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, Cortez has also beat Jasmine Jasdavicius, Justine Kish. I would say maybe Blanchfield has beat more people, but you know, Tracy's also beat Blanchfield herself back in 2019 in Invicta. It was a split decision win. It looked like Blanchfield got the best of her in one of those rounds. And imagine going through a full camp, cutting weight, making weight, then getting all pumped up before the fight. Then your opponent pulls out a minute before you walk out. That would suck. What are you talking about? Was that the Erin Blanchfield fight against Who was that against? Because I do remember this. But either way, yeah, this should be a good fight. They both have great wrestling. I think Tracy has better striking, but Blanchfield's tough. So this could be a really good fight. Blanchfield is ranked number 3 and Tracy's ranked number 10. It looks like Tracy is a slight underdog. Oh yeah, Macy Barber. That's right. That is right. That was a fucking horrible way to end that event. Holy shit. They were the main event, and that's how that ended. That sucked. Blanchfield minus 235 favorite. So Cortez is a slight underdog, but I don't know, man. I feel like if she's on her game, she could definitely beat Aaron. But we'll see. Next up is another banger. Holy shit. Roman Kopylov versus RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez. This is going to be a fun fight. I don't see how it couldn't. Well, I see how it couldn't be, but I feel like this should definitely be a great fight. Kopylov is coming off a loss to Paulo Costa, but he had beat Chris Curtis and Cesar Almeida before. He just has a style that I feel like is going to match up with Rodriguez, and I feel like we're going to get a banger of a fight out of this one. RoboCop gonna spark him. I can see that, but I also see it being a tough fight, and I don't know if it's gonna end in the first round, but I know that we're gonna get some good rounds in here. And you know, Rodriguez can take some punches, that's for sure. He got busted up in that fight against Cannonier, and I think he got busted up against Hermanson too, right? He lost to Cannonier. I think that's where he got that nasty gash. But that was a fight of the night. It was a bloody one. And then he beat Jack Hermanson in the first round and got a performance of the night bonus on that one as well. Got that TKO win against Hermanson. Before the loss to Cannonier, he was on a 3-fight win streak with wins over CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan, Brad Tavares, and Dennis Tululan. So yeah, I mean, RoboCop is a fun guy to watch fight, but Kopylov has some skills too. And I just feel like this is one of those good matchups that we can get some fireworks out of. So should be a good one. And that brings us over to, oh, let's see, who's the favorite? RoboCop is a slight favorite by minus 160 and Kopylov's plus 135. So it's pretty close. He was getting jabbed up by Hermanson and literally landed one strike, and Hermanson was out cold for 2 minutes. Oh, hey, Bobby. Bobby's coming. That's awesome. So we'll have a full house here. We got Josh and Clark and Bob Dole coming in for the watch party. So that should be fun. And then we get to the co-main event. I'm sorry, not co-main event. The featured prelim. We're not even there yet. I noticed that a lot of the betting lines are very close on the main card, at least. I hadn't really looked at them yet. I was planning on looking at them now. So we'll get to it here in just a minute. But we got Bo Nickel getting moved from the main card after the uproar of fans and people talking about how he didn't deserve to be there, which is crazy. But I somewhat agree. I don't know that I agree that he got fraud checked against RDR. I think maybe his striking was fraud checked for sure. Like maybe he's not, you know, he can't match up with the striking, but I don't think that means his entire like career is a fluke. But that's, you know, that's just how things go. He lost to Rainier de Ritter with those knees to the body. RDR is nasty with those knees, man. And he got TKO'd in the second round. He just didn't look good in that fight. So we'll see how he bounces back after his first loss, after being undefeated. He fought in RAF, or he wrestled in RAF and got the win by decision back in August. I do think he's decent, but I do agree that he's not main card worthy. But I also don't like him because he was insanely arrogant. Yeah, he's got some he's got some things to say, and not a lot of people like what he says. But you know, you can't deny the wrestling skills if we're talking about fighting in general. His striking needs some work, but you know, he had that false sense of confidence after that Val Woodburn fight, which who the fuck is Val Woodburn anyway, right? But he did knock him out, and it was exciting. But he got submissions over Jamie Pickett, which by the way, he kicked him in the nuts, and then that's how he got him down. So that was kind of tough. he fought twice in the Contender Series too. So, you know, it wasn't all just like, hey, just come on in. But I remember once he said if he was on the prelims, he would pack it up and retire. But after he lost he switched it up quick. Well, yeah, he kind of has to, because he had to eat his words after getting humbled. Maybe that's what he needed. A little slice of humble pie might do him a little good. So we'll see how he does against Rodolfo Vieira, who's a tough submission guy. And while I think that Bo Nickal's wrestling will keep him out of the claws of Vieira because he's going to stay on top, Bo Nickal's going to find a way to make sure that he's on top of all these, you know, ground exchanges. And Vieira's not great off his back from what I remember. So, but he's a great submission guy regardless. He's 9-1 by submission. He's only got one win by KO, TKO. He's never been stopped on the feet. So, you know, I don't expect this to be a battle on the feet, but they might cancel each other out because, you know, Vieira has to know how good Nickal's wrestling is, and Nickal knows how good Vieira's submissions are. So what happens when that goes down? Sometimes they fall in love with their striking and think, hey, listen, maybe I can knock him out before we get to the ground. He did it with Val Woodburn. He might be thinking he can do it again, unless he learned a lesson from RDR. And let's hope that that's the case, because it's not going to do him any good to try to stand and bang with Vieira. Use your wrestling, get the decision win, because that's probably how you'll win. I don't know if it's just me, but I swear Bo's striking never improves. It's like he just goes to the wrestling gym and never hits pads. Yeah, so there's a lot of people out there that think, hey, stick to what you're good at. But I mean, why would you continuously work on what you're already good at and not work on your striking? But then when these guys start working on what they're not good at, they fall in love with it because they think they're doing well with the training, and then they decide to implement it during the fight at the wrong times, and that's what gets them to lose. So it's tough. It is a tough thing to think about, and the fans are going to talk shit regardless. They're going to say, hey, stick to the wrestling. That's all you're good at anyway, and you can win fights that way. And then other people will be like, all he fucking does is wrestle. He doesn't ever fight. He doesn't ever really fight. And then when he tries to fight, it's not great. So then everyone's like, stick to wrestling. And then he goes back to wrestling and sticks to wrestling. And everyone's like, this is boring. So there's no winning when you're this type of fighter. Thing is just keep getting better at your striking. Implement it when it's necessary, when it makes sense. Don't think that you're gonna fight a whole fight on your feet because you've done well against, because of practice. What we're talking about, practice. Just because you do good in practice doesn't mean you're gonna do it in the fight. It's a whole different game in that cage. So, you know, start to learn how to use that striking to lead to your takedowns. If you even need to. You're so good at wrestling, you might not even need it. I just hope this doesn't turn into some shitty ass, you know, sparring match that no one's gonna do well in, and it's just gonna be horrendous. But you never know. Vieira's coming off a win by unanimous decision over Tracion Gore. He lost a decision to Petrosky before that. This will be his third fight this year. He's got one win, one loss this year. Before that, he had a win over Armin Petrosian. Not bad. A submission win in the first round with a performance of the night bonus. Where he got two in a row there because he also beat Cody Brundage by submission. Both arm triangle chokes and both performance of the night bonuses for him. So he's able to do it. He has another one a little bit before that. So he's got the chance to do something here and really keep Bo Nickal down by handing him his second loss in a row. Just don't know if he's going to be able to do it. We'll see how Bo comes out after that first loss. I just imagine Bo practicing striking at the Penn State Wrestling Gym with another wrestler. That's a good point. Yeah, he needs to really get to somewhere that get to a gym that's really going to help him with that striking and not press him to, you know, think he's doing well in practice again. It's not going to serve him well. We'll see how Bo Nickal bounces back. We'll see what Vieira can do. And that's your featured prelim. And that brings us over to the main card. And we get started with one of many great fights on this main card. Holy shit. Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint Denis. Now we know we've seen both these guys lose in ways that it's like, what the fuck's happening here? Especially with BSD and on the streak he was on. Looking damn good, but you know, then he gets humbled by Dustin Poirier, but that's fucking Dustin Poirier. And that could send you on a downward spiral. And BSD, you know, he almost got stuck in that. He came off of the Dustin Poirier loss, where he got fight of the night, by the way. That was his third bonus in a row, because he beat Thiago Moises by TKO and Matt Frivola by TKO, that nasty head kick to Frivola. And he got performance of the night bonuses there. He got the fight of the night bonus still with Dustin Poirier, even though he lost. And then he lost to Renato Moicano because he got that nasty eye injury. Because Moicano just fucked him up. So he had 2 bad losses in a row. But he's bounced back. He got a little bit lesser opponents than Poirier and Moicano, and winds up beating Prepolek by submission in the second round, and then beat he beat Mauricio Rufy by submission as well. Made Rufy look bad too in that performance of the night bonus win back in September. He won 2 against Moicano. You're saying he won 2 rounds? I don't know. I remember Moicano just kind of fucking him up, but I could be remembering incorrectly. Round 2. Yeah, but he had that fucking nasty gash over his eye. So, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. Maybe that was the case, yeah, but that eye injury was bad. My dog's barking. I'm trying to figure out why. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, he's on a 2-fight win streak, so he bounced back well, beating Mauricio Rufy in his last fight too, so that's impressive, being that Rufy was on a pretty good streak there. And of course, people calling, you know, fraud check on Rufy too, but you know, it is what it is. That's what people do. But yeah, Beneil Dariush is coming off a win. He's never lost a decision. As you can see there, he's 8-1 by submission, 5-5 by KO TKO, 17-6 in the UFC. It's a lot of fights, man. A lot of fights in the UFC. He's 35 to Benoit Saint Denis 29. Let's see, Dariush is coming off of, let me get to the right thing here. There we go. Dariush is coming off a win over Renato Moicano. That was back in June. And he looked pretty good in that fight, if I remember correctly. Moicano was not looking great in that fight. But before that, he lost 2 in a row to Arman Sarukian and Charles Oliveira, which, you know, Charles Oliveira, that one was tough. Package has arrived. That might be it, Clark. But yeah, so he had 2 TKO losses before that win over Moicano. So we'll see if he can get back in. He had a great win streak going before those losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row. A few performance of the night and fight of the night bonuses in there as well, 4 to be exact. So he had a lot of wins, and then he met Charles Oliveira and lost 2 in a row. So last win though over Moicano, and now he's facing Benoit Saint Denis. I mean, Beneil Dariush is a dog, man. He hits hard as fuck. I'm calling Islam to beat JDM. John Jones is a good person. What's up? That's a funny ass name. Islam to beat JDM, it's definitely a possibility. We haven't got to that fight yet, but we're making our way there. But I do think it's possible for Islam to beat JDM, and I'll tell you why in just a bit. Oh, are you being serious, Clark, or are you just talking shit? Anyway, yeah, Beneil hits hard as shit, and we've seen what happens when Benoit Saint Denis gets hit. But he's tough too, and you know, he's got the skills. He's been doing better. John Jones is a good person in the same sentence. Yeah, that's a tough one. But yeah, with Saint Denis coming off a couple wins, especially, I mean, he's riding high off that Mauricio Rufy win, and you know, when it comes down to it, he's looking to keep that win streak going and climb his way back up to where he kind of was before. And Beneil's just getting up there in age. It's true though. All right, thanks Clark, appreciate you. But yeah, Beneil Dariush is he's a tough opponent, man, and if you're not on your game, he's gonna definitely put some work in on you, and I could see him getting the win here. But Saint Denis on a roll, a couple wins in a row, and with that fight, last fight being against Rufy, and how he came out of that one, I feel like he's definitely looking to keep that going. So we'll see how that fight goes for the first fight of the night on the main card. Next up, we got, I do think Benoit is gonna get it done. Okay. It's a toss-up for me. Oh, I wanted to see the odds. It's a toss-up for me. Okay, Saint Denis is the slight favorite, -190. There you go. That's exactly what you're saying, Tyler. All of the main card fights are pretty close in odds. That's what I'm seeing right now so far. So let's move to the next fight. We got Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. Holy shit, man, this could be a really good fight. But I also see Prates coming off of that loss, kind of reinvigorated, right? Like ready to go, ready to turn it around. He got his last win over Jeff Neal with that spinning back elbow. You know, you bounce back from a loss like he got against Ian Machado Gary, and you get that spinning back elbow, and fucking, that's an exciting and explosive way to come back from losing after everybody talks shit because you lost, and then you just showed them what's up. Like, that's the kind of explosiveness and the kind of just power and talent that you need against someone like Leon Edwards, who's obviously a former champ. You know, he won the belt by getting something, by landing something explosive and crazy like that big head kick against Usman. There's no denying that he obviously was losing really bad in that fight. He was losing every fucking round basically, and he got talked up, he got built up, and he came in with, you know, and was able to turn it around and get that head kick win against Usman. So, you know, he can definitely do it, but the way that you see how he looks so beaten and so done when the fight's not going his way, it looks like he gives up. He needs somebody to lift him up, and if they can't do that, like in his fight against Bilal, his corner could not fucking get him to wake up, and he lost the belt by unanimous decision to, of all people, fucking Bilal Muhammad. Like, damn. So he's riding a 2-fight losing streak because he also lost to Sean Brady back in March as well. So Sean Brady's fighting on this card too. So I mean, Leon Edwards is looking to really try to save himself here by winning this fight, but he's got a tough opponent in Carlos Prates, man. That is a very tough opponent. I think Edwards, if he doesn't win here, Brady fucking clowned him. Yeah, exactly. And that's what happens with Edwards, and that's why I see Carlos Prates is that guy with the explosiveness, with the you know, unique kind of striking. He doesn't just do the same things over and over again. He has his own way of fighting, and that's why he was a big thing for a little bit there, and there was a lot of hype around him. So he's the type of fighter that I could see beating Leon Edwards. But then again, he got beat by Ian Machado Gary. He didn't look good in that fight. And Leon Edwards is one of those kind of guys that can pick you apart if he's on his game and if things go his way. So that's why he was a champ at some point. You know, at one point, even though he kind of won on what people thought was a lucky strike, he still came back and proved himself and kept that belt for a couple of defenses. So, well, maybe not a couple, just one. Well, a couple, because he beat Usman the second time, and then he beat Colby Covington. Not the biggest opponents ever, but, you know, he did his thing. I think it will take less to finish Leon than it would to finish Ian. Yeah, I mean, you might be right. A lot of people doubted Leon, and still do, and I understand it completely, because you see how he gives up. Like, it looks like he breaks in there. And it might be by his own doing. So I'm just excited to see this fight. It's another good one. The odds are close as well. Let's see what these odds are. It's minus 210 for Carlos Prates and plus 175 for Leon Edwards. So I kind of feel like, Tyler, you're right that it probably would take less, but I just think that if Leon is on his game and he comes out feeling and looking good early and finds a couple of successful strikes of some sort in the beginning, he might be able to keep his confidence up there enough to give Prates a good fight. But we'll see. It should be a good one. That's your second fight of the night on the main card. We're moving on to the third. Another great fight. Someone we just talked about that just beat Leon Edwards. Sean Brady coming in to fight Michael Morales. This is kind of a crazy matchup, man, because Sean Brady's one of those guys that's been in there doing work. 18-1 overall, 8-1 in the UFC. And he's just been doing well in his past few fights. He's on a 3-fight win streak with wins over Leon Edwards, like we just talked about. He got a performance of the night bonus there. Beat him by submission in round 4. He beat Gilbert Burns by decision. Beat Kelvin Gastelum with a performance of the night bonus on that one in round 3 with a submission there. I think Brady's going to show levels and get that title shot that he already deserves. Yeah, and that's the thing, is he may have lost to the former champ Bilal Muhammad, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that was Bilal just at his peak. Like, he peaked at you know, when he fought Brady and then fights Leon, or he fought Gilbert Burns and then fought Leon and got that title. But it's like, that was the peak, and then he dropped off and lost to Jack Della. And I don't see him coming back and being able to get that belt again. But especially if Islam wins, I don't see that happening, because I don't think they would even fight each other. But either way, Sean Brady's on a 3-fight win streak with 3 big names in there: Kelvin Gastelum, Gilbert Burns, and Leon Edwards. And getting 2 out of those 3 being performance of the night wins. Bonuses, I mean. And then you got the youngster, Michael Morales, coming in 18-0 overall, 6-0 in the UFC. Has looked good in all of his fights. Just beat Gilbert Burns as well by TKO in the first round. Got a performance of the night bonus there. That right hook that he dropped him with, finished it up with punches. And then he beat Neil Magny before that. He's beating up all the older guys, man. Neil Magny, he beat by ground and pound in the first round. Got a performance of the night bonus there as well. So 2 first-round finishes in his last 2 fights with performance of the night bonuses on both of them. Before that, he had 2 decision wins, Jake Matthews and Max Griffin. And then he fought Adam Fugit and Trevin Giles, got TKO wins on both of those. 1 in the first round, 1 in the third. Those are all of his fights. He beat Nikolai Veretennikov in the Contender Series to get into the UFC. So 6-0, he's looking to expand that win streak and keep that undefeated UFC record going. Undefeated record in general, I think. Yeah, he's 18-0 overall. So yeah, this is a big opponent for him to fight, to try to keep that. Dana also confirmed this is a #1 contender fight. Okay, shit. That's good for Michael Morales. I mean, Brady should have probably had a fucking title fight already. So of course that's good for Brady as well. And let's hope that Brady doesn't, crumble right now against someone like Michael Morales, who's a different type of fighter than Brady's been fighting. But so is Brady for Morales. They've kind of both been fighting the same level of competition with like Leon Edwards, Neil Magny types, Gilbert Burns. So yeah, they fought similar competition, so now they're meeting each other, and they're both powerhouses. They both have a lot of talent, and they're both hungry. So is the younger guy gonna win? Is Brady gonna crumble, or is he gonna keep showing why he's deserved that title fight for a few fights at this point? That's the question, and this is gonna be a fucking fun fight. Michael Morales is actually the slight underdog at plus 125, while Sean Brady is a slight favorite at minus 150. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting, and it's a great way to lead into our co-main and main event, the 2 title fights, starting with the women. Valentina Shevchenko versus Weili Zhang. for the women's flyweight championship, I really want to see Makhachev versus Brady. I think the grappling would be very interesting. I think so too, man. Honestly, that would be interesting. There's a lot of welterweight fights on this card. You got the championship fight in the main event. You got Sean Brady versus Morales. You got Leon Edwards versus Prates. And I think there's one more. No, that's it. But yeah, the main card is basically made up of middleweight fights for the men, and then the women's oh no, except for the one lightweight fight with Saint Denis and Dariush, and then the rest are middleweight fights. It's crazy. But yeah, with the co-main being Valentina Shevchenko versus Weili Zhang, should be a damn good fight, man. A lot of people have been anticipating this fight for a while, wondering if we'd ever get to see it, and now we do, with Zhang giving up her title in the women's strawweight division, moving up to the flyweight, and giving Valentina Shevchenko a run for her money, because we know how talented Weili Zhang is. Tyler's going for Weili, so I completely understand that. Both of these women have really only had one fighter that's had their number, if you think about it, because Shevchenko's 14-3 overall, or 14-3 in the UFC. She lost to Grasso once and tied, came to a draw another time. And then she lost to Amanda Nunes. Those are the only two people she's lost to. And Grasso, one of them was a draw, and it was a crazy back and forth, but she also beat Grasso once too. So really, Amanda Nunes is the only woman that's really had her number. And Zhang, while the only person that's really beat her is Rose Namajunas. So this is definitely going to be an interesting one. Shevchenko was involved in the back and forth battle with Grasso for like 3 fights in a row. She lost to Grasso the first fight after a bunch of defenses with that title. What was it, 7? And then she faced Grasso and lost. They came to a draw in the second one, so Grasso retained, and then she beat Grasso in the third one by unanimous decision. Came back, defended against Manon Fiorot, and now she's meeting with Weili Zhang to see who can win, if she can win again, or if she gives up the title to Weili, who's coming up after 3 title defenses in the strawweight division, after beating Carla Esparza, who I think was just ready to get the fuck out of there at this point. After she had her kid, she finally comes back, and it was just a weird little time for her. And yeah, what was it? I was just trying to get back to this page. Okay, so Weili, 26-3 overall, 10-2 in the UFC. The only 2 losses were to Rose Namajunas. So, like I said, they both have one kryptonite, and it's those 2 women for them. But she's 11-1 by KO TKO. Her only loss being that head kick knockout by Rose. She's 7-2 by decision, and 8-0 by submission. She's on a 5-fight win streak right now, with wins over Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Carla Esparza, Amanda Lemos, Yan Xiaonan, and Tatiana Suarez. Those are mauled Suarez for sure in her last fight. I couldn't believe that, man. I thought Suarez would put up a way better fight than that, and she definitely got mauled. It was crazy. So fuck, man, this is a tough one to call, because I could see both of them winning. Valentina's a little bigger, obviously, but not so much bigger that it might matter, because Weili is just a fucking specimen. And but Valentina's got some different kind of skills, I think. But it seems like she fell off a little bit in her last few fights. I mean, I don't know. I feel like before lighter women's skill, let's go. I feel like her last few fights that she fought before she got to the Grasso fights, she was kind of like back and forth on whether, you know, I mean, she lost a split decision to Talia Santos. She beat the shit out of Lauren Murphy, but, you know, then she lost to Grasso. The draw, came back and won. She beat Manon Fiorot, but she arguably lost to Manon. I was about to say, but it was a close one. Yeah. But the fight was so shit, no one ever cared. Exactly. That's the problem. It was not a great fight. And I mean, it's not like the Grasso win was a great fight either. It was her getting her belt back. That was what maybe made it seem like it was better. So I don't know, man. This might be the right time for Weili to step in and fight her. And that's what she's definitely going to do. And we'll see. I mean, we saw her beat the shit out of Yan Xiaonan. I mean, she beat her ass so much that she fucking submitted her. And they woke her ass up and said, nope, go get your ass kicked a little more. And Weili took it to a decision, but beat up Xiaonan. I'll give Yan the credit for sticking in there, being able to hang with all of that punishment. But wow, was it crazy. And then she capitalized her, you know, title run with that big win against Tatiana, who a lot of people thought was going to be able to go in there and get the win against Weili, or at least give her a good fight. And she just tore her apart. So and she made her look bad, and that was Tatiana's first loss. She already bounced back and got a win though against Amanda Lemos, but you know, it's going to be tough to get her back up there. But she's got a new opponent now to look forward to trying to get the belt from, and that's Mackenzie Dern. So we'll see how she does with that. But as far as Weili goes, I think she has the skills to beat Valentina. I'm just wondering if Valentina's going to show up and be the Valentina of old, or is she going to still be that trending downward Valentina that we've seen in the past that hasn't really had the opponent to bring it out of her. And I think Weili's going to be that one. And if not, then it's going to be Weili just pushing Valentina to the side and saying, it's my time, not your time anymore. And I'm going to claim this division like I did the other one. She ran through her old division. She's done with that. And now she's moving up to flyweight, and she might get the title here. Weili is it's near even, plus 110 for Weili, minus 130 for Valentina. So that's your co-main event. And that brings us to the main event. Before we wrap this up, I want to see Weili school Valentina, then fight Natalia Silva. Yeah, that would be a good way to go. Oh man, it's just a matter of how this fight goes down, man. It's going to be a tough one. And fight of the year right here. Yes. Islam versus Jack Della Maddalena. Holy shit. Jack Della 8-0 in the UFC. Islam's, what is that, 16-1? No, yeah, 16-1. His only loss being, it was a long time ago. And yeah, he's been on a fucking roll. We talked about the win streaks. 15 for Makhachev, and Jack Della has only been 8 fights in the UFC, so I only count the 8 that have been in the UFC. But I think total, Tyler, you said it was 18. So 18 total wins in a row for Jack Della. He hasn't lost in a long time. So man, and Jack's boxing and striking is good, is really good. And he hasn't lost since 2016. Holy shit. But Makhachev has also been on a crazy win streak. Obviously 15 wins in a row. He lost the first 2 and hasn't lost since. Yep. Let's see. It was 2015 when Makhachev last lost as well. It's just nuts, man, to see when someone goes on win streaks like that. Much less 2 guys that have been on win streaks that have been that crazy. Islam's just looks better because he did he did all those 15 fights in the UFC, which is crazy. But Jack looked really good against Bilal and tore him apart. But you know, he got beat up too. But Islam's not the best at, you know, striking. That's not his thing for the most part. So look at those submission wins. 13-0. He's never lost by decision. Only has 1 loss by KO TKO. And the same with Jack Della. He's lost by submission once. And then he's never lost by decision. So, you know, looking at the numbers, you see Jack Della with the 12 wins by KO TKO, and then you see only 2 wins by sub, while Islam has 5 wins by KO TKO and 13 wins by sub. It's crazy. Islam is pretty good at striking, especially defensively. He just doesn't KO many people. Yeah, and that's what I mean. You know, it's like striking's not his. That's not how he wins his fights, really. Remember, he got beat up a little by got bloodied up and stuff by Poirier, but he did that. He's crafty with that wrestling and grappling, man. You know, he adjusted. Things weren't working for him. He was having trouble with Dustin, and then he gets that little crazy trip, and that leads to him getting the Darce choke and sinking it in. But I mean, he went off, you know, to the 5th round. Poirier is a dog like that, so it's just one of those things. It was a tough fight for Islam, but he got the win regardless. And then he turned around and just fucking ran through Renato Moicano, which I thought Renato was going to give him a more of a fight, and I thought it was going to be a little more like the Poirier fight, but Renato took it on short notice, and it showed. And I don't know that Renato really had what it took to be able to beat somebody like Islam, at least not yet. But you know, it was a tough one, and he lost in the 1st round by submission to make the 4th title defense for Islam, and now he's moving up to fight Jack Della. The fight will really show how effective the Craig Jones specifics training is. Even though it worked for Volk, this will really show it. Okay, yeah, yeah, it's just fuck, man. I don't even know where to go with this one. I mean, the favorite is Islam, which is crazy because Jack Della has been the fucking underdog in, like, what I think I heard or saw earlier was like the last 4 fights he's been the underdog, and he's obviously been on a win streak. So yeah, it's just tough, man. It's a tough one to call. Obviously, Jack Della is going to be looking to, you know, defend his title, keep that title, and beat one of the biggest names in the lightweight division that's now moving up to face him. And you know, I don't know how the records look as far as, I mean, how many times people have moved up, but in the recent past we've seen, you know, Volk trying to move up to beat Islam twice and it didn't happen. We've seen other people moving up trying to beat, you know, higher level or higher weight class, and it just doesn't work out all the time. So is Islam the guy to be able to make that happen? I don't know. If you think about it, and this is something I've seen all over the place too, is that, you know, a lot of Islam's opponents were guys that were moving up themselves, you know, guys that were like either started in the lower weight class or Volkanovski. 2 of the guys that he beat, or 2 of the fights that he had wins in, were Volk as far as title defenses. So and then you have Poirier coming up as well. Renato Moicano came up, so he hasn't really fought like, you know, it's not like they came up right then, but I'm just saying that, you know, they were fighting smaller. He was fighting smaller guys somewhat, I would say, and or guys that were in a lower weight class before. And Jack Della, I mean, he's not like the biggest guy in the world. He seems to be a little bit bigger than Islam, but Islam seems to have put on a lot of muscle. So, and that's going to help him with the fact that he, you know, with his wrestling and grappling being as dominant as it is, being that strong means you can hold people down, and that's going to help him get to those submissions or be able to win by decision. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I actually think defending against featherweights like Volk is better than beating a guy like Gaethje. That's not a hot take to me, I don't think. I see where you're coming from with that. But the argument is that he didn't, you know, that he's fighting lower level guys that aren't really from that weight class, or didn't, you know, aren't true like lightweights or whatever. Even though I think Poirier was, but at the same, because it had been so long since he was at the lower level, it's just most people attribute that one to Poirier being at the end of his, you know, career. But look how hard he fought him. So it's tough. It's definitely a tough one to you know, look at in that manner. But I do think Islam, being from the camp that he's from, doing the things that he's done and knowing what he's good at, Volk is better than Poirier, Gaethje, and Charles. Yeah, I mean, well, I think that could be argued for maybe some of those, because I think Volk might fall in, except for Gaethje, because I mean Gaethje's just reckless, so he get, you know, we've seen Charles lose a lot, but at the same time I think they're all kind of at that, well, maybe Volk is better now. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I don't know that I agree with that 100%. I say maybe 50 to 60% I agree with that. But yeah, so this is, it's just, I think Jack has a lot of skills that can possibly give Islam some trouble, but I don't know. Islam, how hungry is he to come up and do this? He must be, because he had to give up his title in order to do it, and I don't necessarily think he cleared out the division whatsoever. I feel like there was plenty of more opponents that he could have beat, or that he could have fought in his weight class. But you know, sometimes these guys just have a sense of urgency, thinking, how long am I going to be able to stay at my peak? And while he may not think that way, you know, that's just what some people think. So sometimes they push it a little faster than you might think. I just think that being that two of those title defenses were against Volk, I just feel like, you know, he could have fought a few more people in that division, but now's his time. He's doing it. So we'll see if Jack Della can, Topuria is prime example, featherweights like Volk and Max put up a way better fight than Charles, even on the ground, in the case of Max. Yeah, there's a, man, I don't even there's a lot to that, honestly. Featherweights like Volk and Max put up a way better fight than Charles, even on the ground. I just think it's, those are, Charles is so back and forth. Anytime he's on top, he doesn't stay there for long. So I think that's what I count Charles's stuff too. So I just saw Topuria being able to run through Charles that way, when I really sit back and think about it. Volk and Max are just two different type of specimens. I mean, I think Charles is a badass too, but I feel like he's too inconsistent. Like, there's been too many times that we've seen him falter. So I mean, of course we've seen it out of Max, and I mean, Ilya did put Charles in a crucifix. Yeah, I mean, but Ilya is a different type, man. Ilya's at the top right now. I don't think Volk, Max, or Charles were at the top of their game when they met with Topuria. So that's what I mean. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I see where you're coming from, but it's hard to say. So we'll see. Makhachev looks like a welterweight, so I mean, it's hard to say that him coming up in weight is going to be a bad thing for him, because even at the face-off, they didn't look that big of a difference in weight. So but Makhachev has a set of skills that a lot of people, you know, think can beat anybody. And you know, we saw him finish Volk with that head kick. You know, we see him putting submissions on everybody. There's a lot that could be done here. Jack needs to you know, maybe try to keep it on the feet and really break down Makhachev and slow him down from being able to get those takedowns and hold him against the cage, or hold him on the ground and work the submissions. So if Jack can do that and get the jump on Islam early, he has a good chance of winning. But you know, Islam's one of those guys that likes to drag people into deep waters and really test them and break them. So he's capable of doing it, and you know, he just might. Or you could look at Max versus Gaethje. I mean, all those lightweights are having these wars with Justin, and he couldn't touch Max, then got put on a t-shirt. Yeah, I get it, man. This one's tough though. I don't know who I'm picking, but yeah, it's gonna be a fun one to watch. This whole card's gonna be fun to watch. So don't forget about the Watch Party podcast happening Saturday during the main card. We will be live when that main card goes live. We have Golf and Glory, Clark, he's gonna be in here. We got the new Smell and Salt already. Josh will be here. He hasn't been here in a while, so he's finally coming back. Mr. Bob Dole will be here. If you watched the last couple, you got Islam sub round 3. All right. jump in the watch party so we can celebrate your you being right if you are. But yeah, so we got those three guys in here live with me in the studio for the main card. We're gonna react live to all the fights on the main card, and you know, talk some shit and fuck around. It's gonna be fun. We always have some drinks. We're doing the smelling salts, and we're talking about the fights and having a good time. So let's take a look real quick at what the fight wheel predicted for last week and see how it did. I'm pretty sure, I think I went over this already, but I want to double check. Christian Leroy Duncan, yes. Chris Padilla, yes. Muslim Salikov, no. Joseph Morales, yes. And Gabriel Bonfim, yes. So it went, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4-1. I think for the second week in a row, the fight wheel is done well. So not too bad considering the fight wheel has not done that great in the past 2 weeks in a row now. So I might want to bet on the fights according to the fight wheel this week. We'll see what the outcome looks like as far as the predictions. So let's get this going and see what the fight wheel predicts for UFC 322's main card. Here's your first fight wheel prediction. Depending on what it looks like, I might actually put a bet on this. Oh shit. Sean Brady to beat Michael Morales. Ooh, that is Muslim Zalikov, man. Fuck. Yeah. Sean Brady to beat Michael Morales. That's a tough fight, but I could see it happening. And that one I'm already not sure about. All right, Brady being the first fight wheel prediction to beat Michael Morales. Next up, we have, oh shit, Benoit Saint Denis to beat Beneil Dariush. That I could see. That's not a bad pick for the fight wheel predictions. Totally random. Let's spin the wheel and see what our third fight of the night looks like. So far, Sean Brady to beat Michael Morales, Benoit Saint Denis to beat Beneil Dariush, and oh shit, and you, Weili Zhang to beat Valentina Shevchenko and become a 2-division champion. I could see it happening. That's not a bad pick either. Chinese way. Oh, Matua, what's up? Oh shit, French Ben? What? I haven't seen Morales under, I didn't even see you were here. Under any duress? Okay. Yeah, so Ben versus Ben. All right, next up, we got 2 more fights left, the main event, and then Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. Let's see what the fight wheel predicts. What Leon Edwards to beat, okay, I might not bet on these picks because I don't know about that one. Leon Edwards to beat Carlos Prates. That's questionable. So that makes me think I might not want to pick that one. Kings of Leon. Beneil versus Benoit. Oh, I got you. All right, so let's see what the fight wheel predicts for the main event. Jack Della Maddalena to beat Islam Makhachev and defend his title. I don't know about that one either. That one's tough, man. So, fuck. There's our breakdown. Sean Brady to beat Michael Morales. BSD to beat Beneil Dariush. Weili Zhang to beat Valentina Shevchenko. Leon Edwards to beat... who the fuck is he fighting again? Holy shit, I just forgot. Carlos Prates, and then JDM to beat Islam Makhachev. I don't know if I can bet on that one, man. I don't know. But those are your 3 out of 5 in my opinion. Okay. All right, JDM breaks Islam's ribs. We'll see. We'll see. So 3 out of 5 for you, Tyler. That means I know you were betting on Islam and Prates, right? Those are the 2? Because I think those are the 2 for me as well that I'm not sure about. So either way, those are your fight wheel predictions. Do what you will with them. We'll come back and check them out on Sunday and see how the picks did. Don't forget about the Watch Party podcast happening during the main card on Saturday. We'll have a full house of guests here. I'm riding with CP. Yeah, I hear you, man. Betting on Islam. Wow. Matua. He's all about JDM. I'm kind of back and forth, man. I'm not sure. That's why I say those two fights for sure are bring up red flags for me. I don't know. But either which way, thanks for joining in, Tua. Thanks for coming back. Tyler Fish, of course, as always. Thanks for being in here and all the interaction. Appreciate you. Clark was in here. Mr. Golf and Glory got me my smelling salts. Appreciate that. John Jones is a good person was in here for a bit. That's a funny name. We all know it's bullshit, though. Yeah, that's it. Don't forget about the Watch Party podcast on Saturday. I can't talk anymore, so that's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Enjoy the fights. Peace.